Hi boys and girls, this is math for Monday, May 11th, and we are going to do two things. We're going to review equivalent fractions, and we're going to practice getting fractions down to their simplest form. So with equivalent fractions, we learned last week that different numbers of fractions can represent the same region of a whole, and then that way they're equal, even though they're different numbers. For example, 1/2 and 2/4 are equivalent fractions, even though they're different numbers. So how can that be? I want to just show you quickly. So here's our pizza metaphor, right? We have our pizza. This is a half of a pizza. It's mushroom. And then we have the other half of our pizza right here. Okay? But this half of the pizza is cut up into two equal parts. So we have a whole pizza here. One is in 1/2 piece and the other is cut into fourths. Now watch what happens when I flip this right on top. Okay, I just put my equal parts on top of my half. And now you can see that 2/4 is exactly the same amount of space of this pizza as 1/2. And that's why 2/4 and 1/2 can be equal or equivalent, even though they're different numbers of the fraction. They're covering the same area. So hopefully that's starting to click for you. You can see they're equal amounts of space of pizza. All right, so that's just a quick review on that. When it comes to simplest form, I want you to get out your math notebook and I want you to flip to a clean page so that we can work together. If you need to go grab it, pause it here and go get that, okay? We're going to do a couple together and then you're going to practice a couple on your own. I'm going to give you a strategy. All right, so you've got your notebook, you've got your pencil, you're working along with me, please, okay? So our first one is 8/12. We are going to break this 8/12 into the simplest form it can go. How do we do that? Well, mysteriously enough, we are going to use multiplication and division while working with fractions. And that is why it is so important that we daily practice those multiplication facts and those division facts, because they are tools in your math toolbox that you're going to go back to and use over and over and over again. They're not going away. Just because we're doing fractions doesn't mean we don't work on multiplication and division. You need it all to build on. So be sure to practice the multiplication as much as you can so that you can succeed with your next steps in math, okay? So anyway, back to this. 8/12. Our first step is to use multiplication to find the factors of our numerator and our denominator. So in your notebook, you'll write down 8/12 and then you're going to write factors and you're going to write 8 and 12. And we're going to find all the factors that equal 8 and all the factors that equal 12. That's our first step. I like to start with 1 and go up from there so that I don't skip anything. So starting with 1 on 8, we know that 1 times 8 equals 8. And then we know that 2 times 4 equals 8. And 3 times, nope, we don't need to do 3 because nothing times 3 is 8, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, yep. Okay, so let's see. We have 1 times 8 and 2 times 4 for the factors of 8. Now let's check out 12. And again, I will start with 1. 1 times 12 equals 12. 2 times 6, right? We know our facts equals 12. And 3 times 4 equals 12. Okay, so we can stop there. And you can see now that we have factors for 12 right here. The next step is to find the greatest common factor. And that's what we're going to use to divide our fraction. Okay, so they share 2 as a factor, but that's not as big as 4. Do you see the 4 here is common as well? So we're going to use 4 because that's the greatest common factor for 8 and 12. And that's what we're going to divide by. So now we make our next step. So next to 8/12, you're going to write the division sign, and you're going to divide by 4 up top, and you're going to divide by 4 down on the bottom. Just like this, okay? So what's next? 8 divided by 4 is 2. We put in our fraction line. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And now we have 8/12 in its simplest form. Using all the tools in our toolbox, we use multiplication down here, we find the factors, then we have to figure out the greatest common factor that 8 and 12 have, and that's what we're going to divide by. Okay, let's do one more. Let's try. All right, I'm going to give you 3/6. So write 3/6 up top. You're going to set this up in your notebook just like this. Underneath, you're going to write factors to remind us what we're doing. And we need to find factors for 3, the numerator, and 6, the denominator. Okay, so we're all set up now. Starting with 1, because I don't like to skip anything. 1 times 3 equals 3. And we can stop there, because 2 times nothing is 3. 1 times 3 is the highest we can go. All right, what about 6? Let's do 1 times 6. Okay, great. We can do 2 times 3 equals 6. Can we do 3? Yeah, we can do 3 times 2. We can flip-flop in multiplication. We know that. Okay, we can flip-flop our factors, but we already have 2 times 3, so let's leave it there. All right, so do you look at these and see the greatest common factor? Would be 3, right? The largest, greatest common factor is 3. So that is what we're going to divide by. So let's set this up top here. We're going to divide by 3 on the numerator and the denominator. Okay? 3 divided by 3 is 1. I need my fraction line. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 3/6 in its simplest form is 1/2. Okay? I know this is new. Just take it step by step. If you want to watch the video again, watch the video again. Go through the steps again. I'm going to now write down the problems I want you to do on your own. I want you to set them up just like this in your notebook and practice, okay? So let me pause it here. I'll write down your problems and then you can copy them down in your notebook. 1 second. Okay, so I would like you to try on your own 5/15, 9/12, 2/12, and 2/10. So write those fractions down. You can pause it if you need to write them down. I want you to set them up like we did our practice problems. First you find the factors, then you find the greatest common factor, then you divide, and that's your simplest fraction. Okay? So you can do it, just do it step by step. And if you need to watch the video again, watch the video again. Okay? If you have any questions, bring them to the Wednesday Zoom and we'll work it out then, okay? All right, good luck.